Buenos morning, buenos tardes, buenos evening. Alright. The name. Kevlar Kess. Your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Your personal trainer's personal trainer. Your favorite coach's favorite coach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to do one of them long rambling ones.
I was going to, but there's not enough tape in the video, you know?
This is David Love at your service, and you are in tune to Just Cruising. A special Just Cruising, because we have a special guest on board.
I like that shit.
Do we now?
We do.
Who is that?
That is none other than my friend and yours, Mr. Paul Jones.
How we doing, people?
Can we see?
I hope so.
Yeah, there he is.
Salute.
Yeah,
How we doing, people?
devil's advocate.
My guy, introduce yourself like a person.
I just had my introduction, but
How
this
we
is
doing,
PJ, your resident counter conversationalist. Looking forward to hanging out with the gods right now.
Wait. Resident counter conversationalist.
Yeah, I had to change it because my cousin-in-law told me that the devil don't need no more advocates.
I like that.
And I couldn't disagree with her, even though
It's
I'm not really
true.
religious, but I couldn't disagree with
Because
her.
my man said last time, devil's advocate. I said, what does that mean? Yeah, devil's lawyer. Eh?
You know what I
Who are
mean?
you lawyering for? Devil. No, please. Thank you. Yeah, so today's topic is freestyling. Matter of fact, no, fuck it. We're here now. 2 versus 50.
I had a
Ooh,
feeling
we're
you were
getting back
going to
there,
do
are
that.
we?
Nah,
I had
it's
a
fun.
feeling.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's for the conversation's sake, let's change the 50 to more like 20, because I think that's a little bit more testy for people.
But first, we have to explain to the audience
Yeah, that's true.
what
That's
2
very
versus
true.
50
That's
is.
very true.
So, PJ, would you kindly explain the 2 versus 20, please?
All right. So the conversation I've had in the past recently was about body count. So my argument was, does it matter who the person is versus how many? So if I say she's been with 20 people, obviously we're going to be talking about a female here because there's true man in the car. But if there's 20 people she's been with and you know nothing about them, but you know it's 20, versus 2 people that she's been with, but you know both of them. Which one does the guy prefer, and why? Now, in my conversations, surprisingly enough, the guys picked the 20. I found that interesting. Thoughts?
Yeah, we can go one by one. Do you want to go first? Since you just slapped your chest.
I was pointing at you, but you know what?
Oh, were you pointing? Okay.
Okay, I'll chop it. Personally, I'd rather have 2 that I know that I know who they are.
Even if they're friends.
I don't care.
Okay, good.
I'm old. I ain't playing that. Yeah, I'm old. If you don't like her, that's your problem. I'll take her.
Yeah.
Take her. Simple.
Would you say you're old?
Yes, I'm old.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad to be old. I don't want to be 20. I embrace my youth.
I don't want to be
But
20 either.
I'm good with that. Yo, keep your 20s, because I'm so glad that in my 20s, there were no cameras around. Legit.
I think most people in our age range think that.
I think a lot of us could say the same.
Can't be
to
ducking
fair.
and weaving all through my
No.
20s. Like, oh no. I said something that as a 20-year-old that I would normally say as a 20-year-old, and someone hit me with that nonsense. No. So, I'd rather have 2 that I know who they dated. I know them. Than have 20 that I have no idea about. At all. That's me personally. You, sir?
2 versus 20. I think I'd probably go with the 20. I think the thing with the 2 is there's too many variables in terms
And
of
20
how
there
that,
isn't.
no
Well, no, I know
variables
you're
in terms of how that would work, because it's such an open statement. We don't know what the connection is. We don't know if those 2 still have feelings for her. I don't know what the level of my connection with those 2 is versus her connection, if they still have any contact. Like there's just a lot. I don't like mess. That's the thing. I don't like mess, and it just sounds like there's potential for some kind of mess with that.
And 20 is a mess.
It's 2024, bro. Like women nowadays,
They're gonna have
Hey,
Women nowadays.
panda. Who are you pandering to? Better talk the truth.
I am talking the truth. I don't know why you're getting so loud. I'm just being real. Like,
PJ can't hear me in the back.
yeah,
I'm in the
PJ's
GC.
got an ear problem. So that's the reason why it's so loud.
Hey.
Joker. No, I'm just saying, people have pasts, man. Like,
So, sorry to interrupt, but
20, like.
when I was having the conversations, one of the things came around is the two that you know are the problem because, well, the problem for these guys was because knowing who the guy was and maybe having interactions with that guy in the future, especially when you're around the woman, I think that there's a psychological aspect to it, and I think that plays a factor, especially with guys that, you know,
Are
they're
insecure?
more concerned. Yeah, they're more concerned with being, you know, looked at in an environment, especially if the ex is there and everybody knows.
My point is, I have no insecurities.
Yeah, I think that's what the key is.
It's my point. So I'm not insecure about anything. Everyone has a past. She has a past. I have a past. I would rather have someone that I know who she's dated before, because that tells me her character. That tells me that, okay, this is the kind of person she dates. Especially because, bear in mind, men have this thing, right? As men, is we date, quote unquote, someone just for the sex of it. But now, when it starts to get serious, we want to know her background. We want to know her history. Once we go, okay, I want to spend a long time with this person, we start caring about who she has slept with in the past. Why? Because we start to, in an extent, judge her based on her choices. So if I know that she's had two partners that are actually respectable men, I can tell what she chooses and picks. 1, 2, I would not marry a person who does not respect me and the black race. 2, I would not respect the person. I would not marry a person who puts another race more than my race. 3, if I don't know her past partners, I might be walking someone who has dated 18 Lebanese men, and that's her preference. But she's gone, oh, you know what? I'm gonna settle with this guy. So her personal preference is Lebanese. Yes, you don't want to know. Good. But now you are thinking on, as say me who picked 20, I'm thinking on a me thing. Of course, if it's a hookup, it's fine. But when it's something that's going to be 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that's going to count. Because someone who likes only, I'm using an example, only Lebanese men would unconsciously, by the way, respect that Lebanese person more than you. If that makes sense. So when I say 2, that's my reasoning for 2. Sorry.
And your reasoning for 20D is because you don't want the messy complication of knowing the two previous lovers.
I'm thinking about my own experiences.
Yes,
and I can think of one scenario where it was just a hookup, and I wasn't really that bothered that a friend had been there before me.
Yeah.
But then I remember speaking to him afterwards, and for some reason she came up, and he just got so kind of awkward. Like I could tell he was uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was just a hookup. Do you know what I mean? If it was something more, something deeper, I don't know. The energy around it just seemed a bit messy, and I'm quite private.
Do you
how
think?
I move, so
do you
I
think
didn't
he
really-
was like that because he didn't know if you knew and he didn't want to say anything? Or
No,
was
he
it-
knew.
Oh, okay. So
He
it was
knew.
already
He
out.
absolutely knew. Yeah.
I think he felt that way because he sees you as a better man than himself.
You
And
think
he
so?
sees her upgrading to you.
I don't know. Of course, anything is possible. Yeah, take your time. Yeah, listen to your music.
So
Unbelievable.
yeah, that's what I've noticed is when, okay, say you're dating a woman,
Yeah.
you're with a woman and she moves on from you. When you see the next person she's with and that man is beneath you, you're like, ha!
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
When you're dating a woman,
Women probably do that more than men.
no, men do that, but quietly. Women.
Yeah, the women do that loudly.
Loudly about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Men do it, but men are more
we do
quiet
it,
about
definitely
it.
do it.
But
Do the
when
skeletal hat.
exactly,
Running into the dark.
it's just that one. But when a man and a man break up, and he sees that her partner
Yeah.
is better than him,
Yeah.
more successful
Yeah,
than
yeah,
him, just an all-round better guy, he's shitting bricks. He can't sleep at night, he's stressing out, can't count straight. That's
poor
what it is.
guy.
So is that individual insecurity?
Mm.
Me, I don't care. You want to go and date somebody, that's your problem. I moved on like the next minute, like, weave.
Who was that again? Like, the ability to move on. Mine just, it almost worries me, man. Like I could just switch. Like, okay,
Well, you know why though?
tell me.
It will most likely be a case of you put everything in. People don't move on in relationships in breakups, because when they were in there, they did not give everything. So when it's breakup time, there's a I should have, I could have, I would have. When you give everything, you give your all, it doesn't work out. You're like, I tried. Move on.
I think that makes some people break more.
Yes.
It's like when they put so much into it. Whereas, like you were saying earlier, D, if there's less of a connection, you know what I mean? There's a bit of a hookup. Even if that develops into something, it's never really going to be there. I'm going to put all of myself in this, isn't it?
Wait a second.
It's the what if.
Did you tell us what you prefer between
I was-
the two?
I was-
Sweaty?
No,
He's a sneaky one, isn't he? It's like, what would you
I'm
gentlemen?
counting the minutes. I can see. I'm waiting.
Just matrix that bullet.
Wait. I'm watching you. You can't dodge these jabs.
I'm happy to answer. It's just you guys had some really...
DJ, don't try it.
Hey, there's
While
no
listening
trying
to
here
you.
at all. You had some interesting things to say after that. I'm not going to step on your conversation.
Oh,
but me
man.
personally,
Go on.
I prefer the two.
Oh, you prefer the two?
Yep.
Why, sir? Do you prefer the two?
Well, in my mind, it's a case of numbers. So, as you said earlier, I think when it comes to the amount of partners, it's a reflection on the person, decision making. Me and D, we always have this thing about shot selection, isn't it? So it just shows you certain people have got poor shot selection. So if you've got less numbers, in my head,
Better
I
shot
understand it, makes a little bit more sense. I'd probably feel more comfortable with the two right now. But I'm not one of these people that have a problem with body count. Like, I don't particularly care. Like,
That sounds like a contradiction in terms.
It is.
No,
It's-
I'm
it's-
just-
it's-
if you're
You sound like
making
you're
me...
playing both sides of the fence on that
because
one.
I thought you were pandering.
The reason why
My guy there, Chinese panda. Panda, black and white.
The reason why I
Explain
had
how you reconcile those two things.
yeah, because the reason why I asked a question to my peoples in the first place was because of that. Because I was thinking to myself,
Good.
I can see both sides of it. And you know what
Uh-huh.
I'm like. I'm generally one of those people that I can really see both sides of most
Me
things.
too.
Even if I don't
Me
agree
too.
with either.
Me
But
too.
if you're asking me if I had to choose, I would choose the two. That's as clear as I
You
can
would
be
choose
with it.
two,
Yeah, but, I
but
can
you don't care about body
Yeah, I
count.
don't really. No, I don't. You see, the two to me is it's a bit like
Bro.
oh. have you
Okay,
got
so
a-
you're saying there's not much between
yeah,
the two,
because
is
it's
what
the
you're saying.
past, exactly. And if
Like,
you're,
it's not much between the two, but if
it's
you had
because-
to choose one, you'd go with the two.
because the environment, isn't it? Like if you're in a situation where you've been in an environment where, you're around the same type of people for a long period of time, then there's gonna be some people fucking. You're gonna kind of cross paths, innit? Like it just happens. You've got a friend group. I'm sure you guys, when you were in your teens and in your early 20s, you had a friend group where somebody had at least two of the people, or there was a little bit of a messy situation.
Again, I don't like mess, so I've
exactly.
tended to
But it
swerve
just
those
happens,
things.
though,
It's
doesn't
happened
it?
on a few
Yeah.
occasions, but generally speaking,
You've passed the phase of mess. That's what it is. You've gone
yeah,
past
I've just
mess
seen
phase.
too much mess. Like there's certain friendship groups. There's one group I remember I connected with many years back, and they all knew each other, and they were all having relationships, and
Yeah.
it just seemed really weird and kind of incestuous, and codependent. Do you know what I mean? They'd all be talking about each other, and then this one would be sleeping with that one, and that one would be sleeping with that one, and everyone was talking about everyone's business. And then I went to a few of their events,
Yeah.
and I was like, ugh, this just looks
Feels
like some weird
Yeah.
dysfunctional family thing happening here. So
Talking
I-
about my entire 20s. You're talking about my entire
it
20s.
was like a soap opera, bro.
EastEnders,
And I just
yeah.
thought, I don't want to be in the next episode of this. And I think I was involved with one girl in it, but I was never like in the kind of group.
Circle.
So I just kind of, yeah, I had something with one girl, and then I kind of stepped out of it, and I was like, yeah, you lot do your thing, because they would just only hang around with each other as well. It was really weird, like a safety net for them. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
They didn't have to venture out and meet new people.
Mm.
That's easy. That's the comfort zone.
That's
Yeah.
their comfort zone, 100%.
Stay safe in your comfort zone.
And I'm not like that. I'm more of a lone wolf, so I tend to kind of just.
Yeah, see that 2 versus 20 thing is very, very
Interesting.
individualistic.
Yes, I agree.
Very, very interesting. And I like that because you cannot put men in a bubble. Neither can you put women in a bubble as well. Because a woman can have 2 really bad relationships.
Mm.
Really, really bad. But it's only 2 because she was with this guy for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was really bad. And she stayed there for a long time. So she was used to an abusive relationship.
Mm.
Finds the next person who can equally abuse her as well.
Mm.
Stays for a long time till it gets dangerous. And then is you.
See,
And you go, oh,
Valid.
she's only got 2 guys. Yes,
It's
because
valid.
you are
Yeah.
thinking about only sex,
Yes, you don't know about
not
the
emotional trauma,
Yeah.
not the daddy trauma,
Yeah.
not the
Mm-hmm.
how she sees the world, how she sees men in the world.
Mm-hmm.
These things matter,
Very true.
you know. I go, okay.
That's from
I'm
an
glad you
emotional.
said
That's
that.
from an emotional IQ standpoint. Most people
There you
aren't
go.
looking at people's pasts with an emotional IQ frame point. They're
Sometimes-
literally looking at it like,
Most guys don't care.
yeah, that's what I mean.
They
They're
want
like,
to smash.
how many men are you been with? Because there's a number in my head, and
Yeah.
if you cross that number, then me and you can't fuck right.
You're scared, bruv.
Yeah, exactly. I ain't heard that word in
bruv,
years.
yeah.
Thank you for bringing that back.
Jealous, bruv.
I'm glad you said that, because to me, what actually was happening in those relationships and who those people were is just as important, if not more important, than the numbers.
So I need to know.
Yes.
I need to know.
It's the quality, isn't it? It's what was the quality of the experience.
Legit.
Yeah, it really is.
It's quality. It's quality.
This is such a great conversation.
Because
This is a great conversation.
if you are a long-term planner,
Yeah.
I always play the long game.
Uh,
I like the long game, so I need to know what your past is, what you are
So I can
today,
see your
because
future.
I can see 5 determinative futures. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Based on where you come from, you have your manners and your pattern. From 0 to 7, you have a set pattern. You understand? 0 to 7, you have a set pattern. And as a woman, how your father treated you from 0 to 7, whether he was there or not there, that's how you see men in the world. No matter what you do in your life, doctor, lawyer, nurse, engineer, whatever you want to call it, you are still a 7-year-old. The father is the first idea of how men function in this world. So I want to know who you have been with, because you're going to be attracted to men like your father. So I'm trying to see, okay, that's what daddy was like. That's what our ex-partners were like. Is there a correlation? How do I fit in those 3? Am I like the father or like those men? If I'm not like the father or like those men, she's gonna cheat on me.
This is so real.
Not in 1 year, not in 4 years. When we are settled, we have kids, we have a happy family, and I've given her all the comfort in my life I possibly can. She's gonna say, "You're not doing it for me." There's the guy I met in the gym. He's nice, innit? He pulled his pants down to his ass. Yeah, just like daddy did. And then the men go, "But I gave you everything. I gave you my business. I gave you my this, security, comfort, this, things that we think will help
What
them."
you were saying earlier.
We didn't go into what daddy was like
Yeah.
and what those 2 men were like. So we're looking at body count because we tend to want to lead with only sex in the first place. And that's the problem we have.
There's also a whole nother layer to this that we ain't even
Go on.
touched on.
Go on.
That conversation isn't even a conversation in the, you know, the lifestyle. You understand what I mean?
Go on.
Like, for instance, not saying that, I mean, I don't know of any, but I'm pretty sure that there's people in the BDSM community.
What's BDSM?
Bondage,
Yeah,
discipline,
domination,
sadism,
sadism,
masochism.
masochism. In that community, I mean, we've been to certain places and
Hey!
we've experienced certain
Hey,
things.
we have not been anywhere.
And seen-
There are kids watching this thing.
First off,
Billy,
Hold on,
Daniel,
hold on.
Sarah, and Michael.
hold on.
They're the Black Power Rangers.
We need
I
to-
don't know. Hey.
We need to sort this out early. Children, if you're watching this YouTube video, turn it off. This is not for you. This is grown man talk. Go back to bed. And now for the adults who are
So,
listening. There's
wait 1 second.
Go for it.
PSA.
PSA.
It was a London Expo. We just passing through, window shopping. Please continue.
Yeah.
Before it's my
said,
business.
And I just want to say, when I say we, I'm talking about the proverbial we.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the we as in the three people in this car, just in case. Have some awkward conversations in the future. But you know, there's a completely different mentality there, and in that situation, you can't tell me those people's relationships are no more or no less valid than anybody else's.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
So in the community that it's dependency. It's more dependency because most people like that are led by sexual urges first, not who they truly are. So they stay with each other because they don't know themselves from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they have a similar sexual pleasure. So they use that as the blanket to cover everything else. If you look into their lives, they have regular jobs, do everything, they do all the BDSM, but if you sat them down in a room without sex, they are not compatible. If you took away just that one factor from things,
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that.
I know, it's fine, it's good for you. It's not for you, it's for them. Alright? If you took away that factor, there are many things that they're opposed against. It's all nice and sweet on day 1, year 1, and year 2. Again, long game. Year 1, year 2, year 3 is good for me to tell this one you're a B, you're a this, slap her up and down. It's all nice and good. 4 years, 5 years down the line, it's not the same thing because we change, we evolve, we grow. Every small thing that happens to us outside there changes us for a long time, but we don't realize this. And most times the sex stays the same, everything else changes. So you're still into your whipping, chaining, nipple piercing, and blah blah blah. Great, you've moved on in life, other things. This has gone up this way because what happens with us today as people, we are so focused on today. We can only see today. The most we can see is next year. We don't see what happens in 5 years' time because you do one thing today, that's going to affect tomorrow and next year and next 2 and 3, 4 years. But we don't look that far and that deep because we are blinded by sex and violence, our urges, our reptilian mind urges.
I would say lifestyle people are probably more honest than your normal average person in a relationship.
100%.
Of course, they're not afraid to lose. The ones who are the most honest are the ones who are not afraid to lose everything. Like people who have been through a lot of pain don't fear a little more pain. A lot of times that people use sexual pleasures as an escape to their life problems, it ends up in BDSM.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's
Now,
true though.
it's not for you, it's for them. Okay, so now when people use sexual pleasures to escape what their true problems are, it's absolutely fine. We are procrastinating. You have to eventually go home and go, okay, this thing is a problem. This is the issue I've been running from. Your sexual urges are still fine and still good, no problem. But there's something that you don't know about, whether it's conscious, unconscious, or subconscious, that has brought you here today. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't just wake up one day and go, oh, I like my nipples pierced. I like my leg being stabbed.
Mm.
Something happened that you had no idea about that led to that. It's always good to find out what that was.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Mm.
I just don't like the way that you're associating that lifestyle choice with trauma. Like, I don't think that that's a leading.
It's too much of a generalization.
Yes,
I would
like
say.
I don't think everybody.
There's definitely
that's
it's
living
definitely
that,
the case for some people.
And I think-
100%.
I think as well, some people have also, from that same trauma you're talking about, withdraw sexually from
I don't think I
relationships
said
and make
trauma.
it even more. No, but I mean, I'm just trying to.
You said trauma.
Yeah, because you were talking about all
This
of the
is-
things that happen with people in
It's
the
not-
past
it's
and
not
how
trauma.
they make their decisions about how or what, makes them enjoy sex or what part
I know
of
what
sex
you
they
mean.
enjoy.
I know what trauma is. I try as much as I cannot say the word trauma when I'm saying this, because when we say trauma, everyone else thinks about something else.
It's all
not-
an individual.
It's not trauma at
definition,
all.
yeah.
Exactly. I'd never said trauma until it's trauma time.
Yeah.
It's a sexual deviant or sexual perversion or sexual choice.
Mm.
It's not trauma.
Mm.
There's something that you'd have seen or done in the past that made you like it this way.
Yeah.
That's not trauma.
Okay.
It's nah.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause
We're on the same page.
There you go. I know how I use. So when it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this, remember, I don't talk to one person. I talk to
Mm.
many. So
Yeah.
I don't paraphrase. I go no. Boom. No trauma. No trauma at over here at all. It's not trauma. It's you must have seen one thing or two or three, four things that you go, you know what? I will try that once, and you liked it, and you loved it, which is a good thing. It's a great thing, but you have to know where that comes from. I know people who are addicted to ink needles.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Mm.
I know
in terms of tattoos.
tattooing.
Yeah.
Ink needle. Like I need to go and ink myself again. Not the tattoo itself, but the constant pricking. I don't know why. I don't know what. I know a certain person, a certain female, that comes every time she gets tattooed.
She orgasms.
Yes.
Interesting.
You understand? So that's their preference. I won't say to her, hey, you have trauma, but that's her thing. Would never knock that.
These things are very nuanced because if you're just taking BDSM, there's elements of that which could be in what people refer to as normal sex or vanilla sex. There's still elements of BDSM within that at times in terms of domination and submission and so on. And so people are say again?
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so people who explore it on all different levels.
Yes.
And in the same way, the reason why people explore that is also nuanced. Like, definitely there's people who've been through traumatic experiences who connect with BDSM because of that. Like, I can say that categorically based on what I know and I've learned. And I would say that for some people, BDSM can actually be therapeutic.
Right.
Because let's say, for example, someone was in a situation where they didn't have control.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the context of playing in a scene where there's agreed parameters and it's consensual, that person can take back a certain level of control within that situation. There's a whole bunch of research around therapeutic aspects of it. So I don't think it's a cut and dried thing. I think it can be a lot of different things. Definitely there's certain people who I'll tell you what I heard recently is a therapist called Esther Perel, and she said, show me how you've been loved and I will tell you how you relate sexually, or tell me how you have sex and I'll tell you how you've been loved. And so she was saying the way you have sex often is a reflection of the way you loved or the love you didn't get or certain experiences you had from a younger age. So it's quite complex. It's an amazing interview actually. I really recommend it, but it's quite a nuanced thing, and I think it's dangerous in a way to make too many generalizations.
I've got two things to say.
Because you're going to find people that are going to fit what you're saying, but you're also going to find people that do not fit what you're going to say.
Right. When you say vanilla sex and there's a hint of BDSM in there, when you say BDSM, are we talking about bondage, domination, sadism, masochism, or just 2 or 4 things? You say BDSM is the whole 4, right?
Yeah, BDSM is like it's an acronym for all
blanket
4,
term.
but people play within certain
2 or
parts
4,
of it.
1 or 4, right?
People aren't necessarily
There you
doing
go.
all 4. Like it
Thank you.
depends on the
So
individual.
And then
Even
there's levels there.
Even in vanilla sex, there's gonna be SM. There's gonna be D.
Sadism and masochism.
Yeah. So there's gonna be bondage or dominance, or just dominance.
Bondage discipline, actually. I think it is bondage discipline.
Right.
Sadism, masochism.
1, 2, 3, or 4 of them, right? But it's not always all 4, right? Good one. The author that you spoke about for Show Me How You Have Sex and everything.
Esther Perel, yeah.
Thank you. Now, here's a reality that most people don't know, is that every woman feels differently down there. I got you. Some women have never and would never in their life climax.
Yeah.
Some women have never and will never in their life climax sexually. Some women cannot. Okay, many women like sex as it is. Some women can never climax when you go inside. Never, ever. You have to give them orally, right?
Clitoral stimulation.
There you go. Some women, when you go orally, they will never feel it. They're just different. Some women, whichever thing you do, you can throw the house in there. They're not gonna.
That house,
You know,
It's not gonna work.
it's not gonna work. So, where I'm saying that many women are different in all aspects. Some women, you just look at them, they'll just come.
Yeah, there's some women that can come from
So,
what you say to them.
Exactly. So everyone is different. So that we can't put them in that box and go, oh, some of your sex life is. I know men and women that are happily married, happily together for a long time,
Yeah.
but she can't feel anything down there.
Mm.
That's just how she was. She was born that way.
Yeah.
She still loves him to death and vice versa, but there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So are we talking about sexual chemistry, or are we talking about an individual's inability to?
Individuals,
Okay.
they still have chemistry regardless of sex or not. Because again,
No, I
same
just
thing.
mean not chemistry, sexual chemistry.
I know,
As
I
in,
know.
yeah.
But then again, there are people that have chemistry but have no sexual chemistry.
Yes.
Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. People, they have they're great together.
They look great.
They're great together, but they have no sexual chemistry. I know couples that way. They love each other. They have children. They will die for each other, but
Yeah.
they cannot have sex with each other.
That also wanes, though. Like, you've got to take into consideration the time aspect.
As in the sexual chemistry.
Yeah, it dips in relationships. Like, it's
Yeah, it happens.
yeah,
All the
that's
time.
supposed to be expected. And them two, they've been together nearly 20-something years. I don't know what their sexual chemistry looked like. You know what I
Okay.
mean, in 1999,
I don't care.
but it definitely ain't the same in 2024.
I'm not gonna be outside the window carrying camera and saying, yeah. I couldn't care more or less. That's their problem.
Yeah.
But just generally,
Mm.
when people are together for a long time, the sex reduces, which is fine. The issue we have with the internet and the world is that a lot of people who are online have never had any relationship more than 6 months. So they see the world.
So true.
Yeah.
They see the world in that 6-month relationship mental gap,
Yeah.
and they find it hard to think that other people work and function in a different way than they do. That's the issue we have today, is that many people find it hard. It's not a bad thing, it's just they find it hard to think in the shoes of other people. So if it was me, I would be, but it's not you. If it was me, but it's not you, it's somebody else. Happens too often.
I really feel for young people now, because they're being set up for failure in a lot of ways. Like we were talking earlier on about these dating apps. If you can go on an app, right? I've never used a dating app before, but if you can go on a dating app and literally just go, yeah, swipe, click, and then you get a couple
Location.
matches, and then you go, okay, location.
Mhm.
Like I've spoken to guys who've told me they'll,
Yeah.
they'll go on their swipe, and like that night, she's
Yeah.
coming over,
Yeah.
and then she's leaving. He's
Yeah.
not paying for a date. He's not going out. He's not
No.
doing nothing. He's like, this is
Yeah.
just convenience. If that's your experience and things are that easy and that disposable,
Yeah.
to go from that to being with one person
Yes.
is going to be such a leap, especially over the long term.
Yeah,
Like, because
especially
you just
when you
used
get
to,
past that.
your brain's going to be
initial
wired for a
fascination
completely
phase.
different kind of dopamine
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Like, to go from that to like, because relationships at times, especially if they're long term,
Yeah.
they're not exciting at times. There's
Yeah.
issues,
I mean,
there's
actually
ups
quite
and
trying.
downs, there's seasons, and you're like,
Yeah.
if
I've
you
got a
if,
question
you're, if
for
you
you.
if you've lived like that for years and years, how would you do anything else? And
Yeah.
there's no real fulfillment in that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
It's a learned
it's like,
behavior
it's
thing,
like
isn't
fast
it?
food, yeah. But if you've wired your brain for that,
I got a question for you.
go
So
for
you
it.
see that guy that sees a girl on Tinder, swipes, and then does a thing,
Mm.
does their thing, right? How about that girl? She also is in the habit again.
Yeah,
of-
yeah. It's the same
of
mindset.
Single,
Mhm.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one
We're
guy,
having
one
fun.
night, one guy, one night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now imagine her now settling down.
This is what I mean for both.
Yeah, yeah.
when I
Is
say
that a
this.
phase for her, or is she now used to having one man, another man every week, and then having the same man for a long time?
Here's the thing. On the one hand, I hear where you're going with that. It's probably going to be a huge adjustment for both. I'm sure it would be a huge adjustment for both. At the same time, I hear people talking about how sick they are of this disposable
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
course.
They're like, dating's a mess now, and
Yeah.
it's like,
The dating
I'm not
scene is a
enjoying this.
cesspool.
I would love to actually go
Yeah.
out on a date and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of those
Chivalry is
things where.
gone.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
people who party, for example. Yeah, they love partying, they love going out. Da, da, da. At a certain point, you're like, I'm tired of being in this club, man. Like, it's
Seeing the same
loud,
people, drinking
seeing
the same drinks.
But
Do
they
you know what I'm saying?
continue doing it.
They
There's
don't-
what
they-
you
not all of
say,
them do.
but most do. There's what you say, what you do. We had this talk earlier. That people say they want change.
Yeah.
When they get the change, they go back to what they're used to, their comfort zone. That's the problem with a lot of things happening today. Everyone talks a good game. Oh, they do. I want this, I want this, I want this. Okay, and show up.
The other thing is, some of them are gonna age out of that shit too.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
You're seeing that with the influencer world at the minute.
They're gonna age out of it, where it's like you just
Yeah.
look weird being in the club right now.
Yeah.
I see 50-year-olds still clubbing 20-year-olds.
I was working at an event the other day, and yeah, there were a few people in there. I was just like, what is
Wishful
happening
thinking.
right now?
I remember being 20, looking at the 50-year-old and going, I'll never be like
I'm
that.
never gonna be that
Yeah,
guy.
That just looks creepy.
There you go.
Mm.
There you go. But it happens. It's been
Yeah,
happening
of
forever.
course,
It
of
still happens
course.
today. To this day, it happens.
Mm.
To this day.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? No. So I worry about that because we all have our preferences. There's a way people like sex,
Mhm.
and they can pretend this is not the way for a long time, but they always revert back to that eventually. Always. Another thing that no one talks about is that relationship timeline. You've seen many girls that have a 6-month relationship, and they're always it always ends after 6 months. Oh, he's a nice guy, he's perfect. 6 months, 1 day later. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's that.
Wasn't
It
for me.
always ends. Self-sabotage, because they are used to that timeline.
Mm.
They don't know how to handle what's past the timeline. Before anything, they're counting more bodies. So you're not looking at their pattern of behavior. This is what everyone does. FBI does this, the CIA does this, the police does that
Pattern
because it works. Humans have a pattern. Not, oh, it's a phase. No. Humans have a pattern. They will always fall back to that old pattern. Once they have their way of things, they always fall back to it. Always.
I got one for you. Let me know what you think of this.
Sure.
It came to my mind when you spoke about, oh, he's given her everything, and then later on she's just up to a madness. So I heard a story about a man who was very successful in his business, entrepreneur, made tons of money, basically set up his family, you know, gave them jobs, gave them businesses, had multiple businesses, gets much older, is married to a woman. He's 99 now, she's 75. He's declining a little, as you would think, at 99, right?
Good innings, by the way.
Absolutely, but he's still lucid. He knows what's going on. He's aware. I believe he gave her some sort of power.
Power of attorney.
I don't know what she signed or whatever, but essentially, the long and short of it is, she's put him in a home.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing was, he had carers that were there, so she didn't even need to do anything when he was around. But she just doesn't want him in the house. And now his family goes to visit him, and he's sitting there like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't need to be
got
here.
A house and
I should be in my home.
Yeah.
And so this man's finishing up his time on the planet in these facilities, which are nice private facilities because he's rich. But this woman's put him in this space, and in my head I'm thinking, well, part of me is thinking, well, how did you give her the power to do that? But also, what's the reason? Like, I was
What,
curious.
from her perspective?
Yeah, I'm curious. Is she just want to have like some glory days in her? Because she's 75. Do you know what I mean?
How
Like,
long was she with him?
I don't know that actually.
Yeah, because if she was with him for a long time, then immediately I just think, all right, so she's had enough, and she thinks, now I have the power of attorney, whether it be health or well-being or financial.
It just seems like a mad situation, because I'm thinking, if he's 99 and he's already got carers.
I cannot help until I know the full story. Like PJ said, how
that's
long
true.
were they together? Have they got any kids together? Is it a 50-year relationship?
Did he meet her very late at the end of the
Was she doing her thing before, you know?
And does she get on with the family? Because I can see that being a thing of, if I put him in the home, then none of these people need to come to my house anymore.
His kids, her kids,
You understand?
you know?
It might not have nothing to do with him.
There you go. His kids are kids. This is what is the case?
Yeah, I know she's got kids of her own.
There you go. So
I'm gonna find out more.
Yeah,
I just found it interesting.
complicates
Yeah,
things.
but that gives you a rough timeline there.
It does.
Yeah, because once you know you've got kids and a power of attorney, you've got to be talking about 7
There
to
you
10
go.
years.
So if she has her own kids, he has his own kids.
Yeah.
She's going to try and get all she can from him for her kids, not his kids. It's like, yeah, game is game. That's that. Game is game. Simple as. I've seen that. I've seen whole family. He's married, new wife. He has his own kids. She has her own kids, and then she's gonna try and set him up so he can die and have her name on the will, so she can take the whole thing
That happened to my
to her
dad.
family. So
Down to my dad.
game
pretty
is
much.
game. It's game. It's when men stop using this to think and saying this to think, they know how to do properly.
It's just real interesting to me, because for him to achieve all he did, you know, this is an intelligent, capable man. And
Yes.
so then to end up like that, it's like, oh man, like, how did you
Here's how. Okay.
fumble the bag at the end of the game?
No.
It's
He
like,
didn't fumble it though, did he?
Here's how Delilah got Samson. She asked nicely. That's it. Game is game.
I can just imagine a conversation.
I'm
It's
telling
like,
you.
oh, you should.
That's it.
You should sign this, because in case this
Yeah.
happens and that happens, you know.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. And by then he's like, well, I trust her. We've been together for however long.
She asked nicely.
Yeah.
A woman's power is to be polite. That's it.
I mean, it works on me.
You
I'm
can-
not
It
gonna
works on
lie.
me as well. I was literally just thinking the same thing.
It works on me,
Works
man. If you
on
ask me nicely, I'll do a lot of things.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like,
I'll be there running
And I'll probably
around
do
the
it
globe with my
quite
Captain
quickly
America
as
shoe
well.
like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, please.
Well,
You can save the world.
respect, isn't it? You know
It's
how
that
much men like respect.
man.
That's it. That's it. So that's it. I tell women, like, game is game. I love that line. Game is game.
And it's so easy to
It's just be polite. Done. You don't have to combat. Just, oh, could you please? Okay.
It's really like that.
It's like that.
It's really like that. Ask me nice.
We melt.
Ask me
Oh,
nice.
okay. Oh,
And then
how do we get here?
on the flip side, you could ask me the easiest thing to do, but if you don't ask me the right way,
I'll side eye you.
Yeah.
I'll just look
I'll
at you.
ice cube frown. I'll kiss you.
Yeah.
The ice cube frown.
The
Everything
NWA
but what
ice
you
cube.
need.
You know, I'm gonna kiss my teeth. I'll just watch you for like 10 seconds, say not a word. Just
Yeah.
I'll freeze time. Just watch you like, who the hell? That's it. Be polite. Done. Simple as that.
It's really interesting how that's one of the few things that all men can agree on.
What's that?
Like the respect thing. Like
But there you go.
when you ask me nicely, I'm more than
There you
capable
go.
of being accommodating.
And mean it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Don't come to me with no fake.
Oh, can you please enough for me?
Can you that fake sickly sweet?
Or when you do it
shit.
shitty in the first place, and then when you get the side eye, you then have to revert back to the type.
Yeah.
Oh, can I have? Well, no, you missed
No,
your
you
opportunity
missed
now.
up. You missed up.
No, this
That
is
one
fake
time.
politeness.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to be
don't
like
like
one
that.
of your clients.
You had one job.
Yeah.
One of your clients.
You know what I mean? Like if you're
Pretending
at
you
work,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
like you know when you don't like your
You're
job.
making me think of a prostitute, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
one of your
acting like
clients.
you're actually paying for her to pretend she likes you.
Likes you exactly, and then
BDSM.
pay her for her to leave. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, excused. BDSM.
Oh, we back here. We
You
back
said,
here.
What you trying to say? I'm a
My man was
pervert.
talking about work. You went to that kind of work.
Working girl,
Nightcrawler.
lady of the night.
Your cape. But yeah, it's that's that. So be polite, be nice about it, and yes, the 2 and 20 thing kind of counts, but on the individual.
Yeah.
The individual, I like to look at body of work in the sense that
Body of work.
legit the companies,
That's actually quite genius.
yeah,
Hilarious.
the companies that have that are successful in the
Body
work
of
today.
Yeah.
No, I mean like FBI, CIA.
Yeah,
all
we
the-
get you, but
all
it's a
the
double
acronyms.
It's
entendre.
just the
We're-
term of the term
we
is
like
hilarious.
writing, so when we hear bars,
Yeah.
But I have allergies,
yeah,
allergies.
you know.
allergies or analogies.
Yeah, so body of work is counts because everyone has a pattern. People are pattern creatures. This is the nature of it. The ones who always wake up late will always wake up late. The ones who wake up early, wake up early. Everything you do has a pattern to it. As much as we want to be, oh no, I'm special. Yeah, you go, girl. You're a special unicorn. Awesome. Good for you. But you know, you have a pattern. It's true. Oh my gosh, if you get this cookie, you're gonna change your life. It just tastes like sour milk. It's like, ew, bruv, I had so much hopes. You're not special. We're not that special. Anyway.
Yeah, I've never really understood that whole good pussy conversation because I always assumed the sex as a whole is what you're really judging. You're not just judging the vagina, are you?
Well, okay, here's why.
Never understood that.
When you have nothing else to sell,
You're gonna lead with. You're gonna that laugh.
Yo, I was not expecting that, but you are spot on. I get where you're coming
When
from.
you got nothing
Please-
else to lead. It's so
Please
true.
continue.
It's
Please continue.
so true. It's so true. And I think that sometimes when it's just based on how some people are dressed.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I call it market.
Once upon a time, it'd be like, oh man. Now it's just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay,
So there's
okay, I
there's
see.
nothing else.
You have nothing else
There's
to give.
nothing
Yeah.
else.
But nyash.
Like we
Yeah.
Yeah.
take the nyash out of the
That's
picture.
it. That's it. That's
This is
that.
it.
Are we here pretending? Sorry.
Yeah, you know,
Are
yeah.
we here pretending?
Yeah.
Like we ain't been there before.
You know.
And there was nothing else there.
Yeah.
But the Nash was gnashing.
There you go.
Hey, listen. Sometimes that's all we wanted. What?
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's
Okay.
not pretend.
Oh, come on.
But see, here's what's interesting.
Absolutely.
All right,
Now we know. We've now peeked behind the curtains. We now go, oh, this is how the wizard works in us. Okay.
I see where the
So
levers are.
when you have nothing else to give, but you have big breasts, you're going to cleavage because you and I know that that's all you have to give. You understand? And guess what? Every other person has coochie. When you have nothing else to give, but you have big nyash, what do? You put your big nyash up. I have nyash because you have nothing else to give, and you know, and I know, and I know you know, and you know I know you know. We know.
It's known.
It's
This is what I
known.
know is-
Yeah, we know you have nothing else to give.
yeah.
That's that.
Yeah. I guess. Oh, so okay. Are we talking about? All right. Let's reverse this then.
Good.
We're talking about the 2 and 20, right? One of the things that you said earlier is the long-term plan. So are we really talking about dating with intention? So are you saying in the world where somebody's just having fun, the 2 + 20 don't really matter.
Yeah.
Versus
Always
the
matters.
person, yeah, you know what I mean.
It matters.
Yeah, I mean, in the person, does it matter to the person that's swiping left and right though? Because like what you were saying earlier, if you're
You
somebody
literally
with
said if it's just a casual thing.
yeah, if it's a
matter.
long-term thing, like you're using that as the
But 'cause
way that
you don't
judging
think
the,
like that anyway.
Yes.
You think more as a
If
long-term
it's
person.
a casual thing, 20 doesn't matter.
Yes, that's what I'm trying
If
to
it's
say.
a
So is it-
long-term thing,
Yeah.
20 matters.
So what we're talking about then is when you're asking that question, you have to precede that with you're dating with intention. Because if you're just out here swiping left and right, I don't think it matters.
It doesn't. So here's the problem with women who are showing the assets. The men who see them don't see them as long-term investments.
Yeah.
That's it. They see it as right now. 'Cause
Bit of fun.
When you lead with sex, that's all you're going to get. Whatever you're looking for is looking for you too. You're gonna find it. It'll find you. When you lead with that hand, you're going to get that hand. Get mad at the system. It is what it is. So, yeah, I try and tell women, dress decent for these reasons. Because you could be the nicest, smartest person out there, but if you are leading with sexual features and he sees that first, he will always be wired to see that first. As
And
much as he tries.
And nothing else.
And nothing else.
Yeah.
Because you could be the best whatever out there, but because you led with this, that's the front door for him. Because first impressions last.
Yeah.
And they go a long way. Because even if you guys change and you're all nice and you're all like, oh look, I'm a nice girl now, saintly this, that's his default setting.
Yeah, you've been put in this box.
That's his. It
So how
reverts
do
back
you-
to that.
So how do you define the guy that tries to turn the hoe into a housewife?
I don't define it. I say sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that guy's holding on to the idea that this is a hoe that I want to turn. Like a guy that might
They have
have
names.
a chick that has
Their
an
names.
OnlyFans.
There are
or
lots
a-
of names of men out there that have done it and they've regretted it. They're everywhere, and they will tell you this because when they were doing it, everyone said, "Bro, don't do this."
Yeah.
Don't do-" No, I love her. She loves me.
Done
We
this
love
crazy.
we.
You think that's
She
what-
was a how yesterday.
You think that's
She's
what
a
happened
born
to
again.
Will Smith?
In
Well-
regards to not Jada. Okay.
Will Smith was
I think Jada
both sides
might,
daddy issues.
I think Jada might be buyer's remorse.
Of course. But Jada has never seen a long-term relationship.
What apart from him?
Yes. She has never seen what couples do 5 years down the line. What couples do 10 years down the line. So it's always been, okay, this is how it works in the first 6 months. When it's not working like that in the next 6 months, then it's weird for me. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's not complete for me. It happens all the time. All the time. So when you haven't got family members who have been in that long-term relationship, not just marriage, just that long-term partnership, that is beautiful. When you've never seen that, you don't know how it works. You have no one to go to and say, uncle, auntie, mom, dad, this happened, how do I deal with that? There's no one to deal with that. When you are surrounded by single folk, dysfunctional folk more like, they will only help you the way they think it should work.
Yeah, because that's all they know.
Not the way it works.
No, that's all they know though.
There you go.
Yeah.
The way they think it should work. I said, oh, if it was me, I would have, but it's not you. That's a problem. So the Jada thing is she didn't have a good father figure. Not just that. Father figure, like men around that would show her this is how men in the world work. So growing up, she never saw that. The Will Smith thing was the same thing as well, which is growing up, he never had a father figure, like an older brother that was like, no, this is how the world works. So with that, he became the parental son. I'll send you a clip of that. The parental son is the one that
he's like the relationship. He's like with almost like the mother's partner.
He becomes the mother's husband too quickly. He never has a childhood. He's always needing to please, and the
Codependency,
the only time he feels like he's of worth is when he's
When
providing,
he pleases her.
when he's pleasing, providing for the family, giving everything. He can't rest, he can't sit still, because if he does that, he feels like he's not enough as the parental son. It happens a lot. So many of these relationships now, the Smith and Pinkett thing, they're trying, they're like, to the best they possibly can, they're trying, because they're still together regardless. But guess what? That's how real marriages work. 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, you can't stand each other. You can't. Because in the beginning, the sex was cool. But now that the sex isn't cool anymore, you are now with the same person, like face to face, that, okay, now what's next? What's left? What's next? We can't do BDSM all week. You see my point? Okay, now, who are you? What do you like? How can we function out of sex?
Not easy.
The first step to the end of relationships is when you stop communicating with each other.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You had a good day, I had a good day. Awesome. How was your day? Good. What happened? We communicate. You had a good day, I had a good. How was your day? Whatever. Whatever. It begins. That's
Separation.
That's how it ends. It doesn't end because of one big thing happened. No. You stop.
It's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
What's the longest relationship you've had, Mr. Kes?
Long enough, longer than YouTube. What's your business? What's your
That sounded completely unnecessary.
Longer than what?
longer than YouTube? What's your business?
Did I just touch a nerve?
Yes. I will deal with you personally.
What is happening right now?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
What?
So, my longest relationship has been Oh, I got delivery. Oh, sorry.
Did he say longer than YouTube or longer than YouTube? What did he say? What did you say? Longer than YouTube or longer than YouTube?
Both are interesting. Both answers are interesting.
Hey, they're both funny. You don't have to answer that. Clearly,
I'm not answering for shit.
No, I don't blame you.
It's like I don't know who's watching this.
Exactly.
I know who's watching this.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Third Amendment and shit like that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Talking about.
Oh my goodness.
I just got to say to all of the people in long-term relationships, keep it up, man.
My second thing is,
handling
what
it.
does
Unless you're absolutely
what does
miserable.
a
And then
fish
stop. Just stop.
what does a fish have to do with raincoat or umbrella?
Sorry, say again. What does what now?
Waiting concern fish raincoat. What does a fish have to do with umbrella? Why is it their business?
Okay.
Why is it their
I'm
business?
waiting for you to tie it back up before I respond.
I know. Why is it their business?
You're right. Actually.
a feeling,
We don't
man.
really get into personal shit. My bad.
You're really like it's.
Yeah, sorry, man. I am definitely ruining this.
Ha! Subtitles.
No, you're
Why
right.
is it your business?
No, you're right. We need to keep some personal shit for ourselves.
Yeah.
No, Dr. Love.
Yeah.
What was your longest relationship?
Long.
At what age did you lose your virginity?
Should we not?
No, we have started. I will finish it.
You haven't asked.
When
the
was
question.
the first time you used your rifle? Well, how was your first masturbation?
Rifle?
What's starting? Oh, no.
You know the funny thing
What
was,
did you say rifle?
when did you first use your rifle?
That's hilarious.
That was the question.
Pew,
No, you're
pew,
right.
pew.
I just remembered our conversation before.
No,
the
it's fine.
podcast.
My longest was 7.5 years actually. And the thing about that was, it ended amicably.
Oh really? Nice.
It literally did, because again, the first year was woo. Second year was third year was like, okay, we're here together now. Fourth year, fifth year, just again, same thing. Year 1 is not year 2. Year 2 is not year 3. And that actually helped me study married couples more. The only reason we started to break up was that from the beginning, from a certain point, we stopped going, how was your day? It wasn't grandiose.
Little things aren't little, man.
It wasn't big. It was like, fair enough.
So it was a drift apart.
Yes.
That's
Like
why it
most
was
things happen.
amicable.
Yes.
Okay.
You get to a point, you start realizing, oh, I like this, she likes this. Initially, you go, oh, we both like this together. And now we're growing. We're liking things differently.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think enough people in relationships put enough onus on that.
On what?
How people change as time goes on.
You don't know how
don't
to.
make that
I
allowance or
agree.
adapt to it.
I agree.
Nobody is going to
10
stay
seconds.
the same.
Yep.
Nobody.
Do you want me to pause it?
Yeah, pause it.
Thank you. So, yes.
Where were we?
What do you
Yes.
think?
Long-term relationships.
Mm.
I think, like for instance, my grandparents, rest in peace to my grandma,
Mm.
they were together for 50 years.
Mm.
And she passed when she was
Wow.
80 years old. Throughout my time speaking to her, especially like as I got older and she would open up to me more, she used to always make the joke, if I could do it again, I would never marry this son of a bitch.
Obviously.
As much as she loved him, like the two of them, their whole entire lives was connected and they were completely together.
Mm.
And they were the type of people that over time they adapted. Obviously they went through their things, but they adapted to each other. It was always a playful thing with her. You understand what I'm saying?
Nice.
But they gave room for each other to kind of be
Growth,
the persons they were going to
change.
be, change, you
That's
know.
beautiful, man.
And so it was a wonderful relationship to watch.
Mhm.
However,
Mhm.
to me, it was unrealistic. Like I just couldn't see anybody in a situation for that long. I just couldn't see it. I personally believe all relationships should have an expiry date, if I'm honest.
In
Or
what
at
sense?
least-
In what sense?
Well, at least you should be able to renegotiate. I think it should be like a contract. Every 5 years, you go
That's-
to the table.
That's you know what's
sit
interesting.
down.
You mentioned that. That's actually something that people in that lifestyle do.
That's what I'm
Not
saying.
all of them, but some
Yeah.
people, depending on the level of depth, they will literally agree. Okay. They'll literally agree what the terms will be, maybe for like a year or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is what I
Yeah.
want, this is what you want. At the end of that year, compare that to the typical marriage vows, where it's like you say
Yeah.
something once and then just kind of run with it.
And half of the
like-
things you say in the vows are nonsense anyway.
Yeah, you don't really think about them. You're not really
Yeah.
like. It's not like a thing where it's like. Let's say you've got a company mission statement and whatever,
Yeah.
and you're really locked into it.
Yeah.
Those values are something you really
Aspire
work and
to.
function by,
Yeah.
and you come back to them and you like, okay, let's make sure everything we do relates to how we as a company see blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Most relationships aren't like that. It's almost like there's no manual and people are just kind of feeling their way
There's more prep.
through it and
There's-
working it out as they go along. Like
There's more
it's-
prep put into, like you're saying, the business. There's more prep put into people preparing for an interview for a job.
or a holiday.
Yeah, than they do for their relationship, and I
It
think
really
it
is.
should be the opposite way.
Right. So, here's what's interesting about your grandparents, right? That's an individual relationship.
Yeah.
Did you find out how they met, how they
Yeah.
started?
I know their whole history.
understand?
That was why it was always interesting for me to have those conversations. But as I said before, it was just an unrealistic.
I say that because
Expectation.
yes, because our grandparents are victims of World War II. It's very important because that was a time of scarcity and famine.
Mm-hmm.
When people
Scott now?
scarcity.
Scarcity. Who's that? Is that one of his friends?
This sounds like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
Scarcity.
Yeah.
Scarcity. you mean? Okay, go ahead.
That 2D.
Darksiders, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Scarcity sounds harsher than
Scarcity.
scarcity.
Famine.
The new Robert Rodriguez
No.
film coming soon to a theatre near you.
Scarcity.
Scarcity.
Famine.
We were scarred by
Megan
scarcity.
Fox.
Sorry, continue.
I am not the hero that scarcity deserves.
Yeah, my head.
It actually sounds hard.
Scarcity sounds hard as shit.
Scarcity.
My head is heading. Hey, my head.
Go on, World War II.
I can't talk anymore. Hey, it's in my life. Anyway, so scarcity and famine. GD. In the days,
Dystopian vibes.
the
yeah.
future, 20XX. Disgusting, fam.
Okay,
Just some man whipping a girl on the streets. Yeah, you.
Shot in black and white.
The world needs a hero. Yeah. This is, but not Donald Trump. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds political.
You know,
Careful now.
yeah.
Be careful now.
You know, it's just
You might get YouTube's ears pricked up. You said Donald
you
Trump.
know, just in Megan Fox and the Batty Riders. Dun, dun.
Yeah, with no battery to speak
I was about to
of.
say the back riders. You picked the wrong Transformer chick.
You know, a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, exactly.
Explosions in the background.
Slow walk across the camera.
No Batty.
No us to speak.
Yeah.
Just two legs.
Yo, Megan caught mad strays from no reason.
Bullet time.
Oh man.
So anyway, in that time they went to World War II. So many of our dads, our grandparents,
Yeah.
fought in the war, and there was actually no food around the world because all the food you had here had to be shipped to this country, that country. So there was no food, there was no jobs, there was this and that. So everyone was actually in struggle mode, survival mode,
And depending on each
dependence mode.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those relationships started because they were in survival mode and dependence mode. So that means, oh, I'm gonna be with this person because life will be less hard if I have this partner.
Yes.
Make sense?
A problem shared is a problem halved.
There you go. So there's, you now get together, you marry, you go, oh, I'm going to learn to love this person eventually. You realize, oh, this is what I married into. But because you've committed to it, you're stuck on that.
There was a sense of commitment back then as well.
There was no breakup.
Well, that wasn't an alternative then. This
you
is
go.
a bit of the times, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like
thank you.
when you think about that Windrush generation, the alternative wasn't to leave the person. It was
Sorry. So we had back then there was love commitment because there was no alternative. You break up and do what? Where are you going
exactly.
to? Where are you going to? Yeah, go. See what happens. Everyone like that. So it was basically there was no. If I leave this person, I can go on OnlyFans and
You know
make
what I
a
mean?
new video.
There
also wasn't like government assistance on the same level in
Nope,
terms
there
of things
wasn't.
like welfare.
Nope, there
So you
wasn't.
didn't have
and
the,
if you had a divorce, it
Yeah.
wasn't like no fault divorce. So it was like there wasn't that same, well, I'm gonna get alimony, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, just automatically. Whereas now
you can play the game.
You can play the game now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm done with this. I'm out. Divorce. And get paid. Whereas back then you'd have had to have like a real reason. Grounds.
To be fair, there's an argument to be had that some of them probably should have said enough and moved away. When you think about
Someone else at the school, bro.
I know.
when you think about the people
There's
that
an argument to be
complain about-
said.
There's an argument to be said for some of those people that should have quit those relationships, because the amount of people I know that are like my age or a little bit younger, when they talk about how they were raised,
Yeah.
you understand, you don't think, oh, your parents weren't supposed to be together that long, but it doesn't sound like they had a choice.
True.
Something Kes said to me is interesting. He spoke about how once people go beyond a certain number of years together, it's almost like they can't
You can't leave.
Yeah, they can't see without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't turn back because you're here now. Where are you gonna go to? What's the alternative? The
What
person
do you
you're
think
gonna
that
go
is?
to.
Do you think that's a fear or like almost like a chemical thing where like you're just wired for
It's
that?
all of
or
it. It's all of it.
It's to and fro. So it's okay. Here's the weird part of it. It's to and fro in the sense that you've been with someone for 40 years, and now you're gonna go. What's the next 40 years gonna look like with the same person again? But here's what's interesting, because you are thinking you're still young. You're having your wish of youth in you.
That's a mistake.
There you go. That's why you see the 70-year-olds.
after 40 years,
The one
that's a
that's-
mistake.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen
No, I'm with you. I've
seen
got them
it.
in my circle.
Are you
too.
talking
I'm
about you talking about those people that leave and then they suddenly realise, oh
Yeah,
shit.
I sit
I
down
have
there.
to go back in the dating
I've
pool.
seen
and
a
I'm
few
45
TikToks.
years
I've seen
old.
and
a few
nobody wants me.
TikToks.
100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be different. Oh my goodness!
And you know what normally happens is that they go back and find the ones that they missed.
Mm.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Who don't wonder?
Do you ever get them
But
messages?
Not anymore.
But here
Do you
was
not?
No,
crazy.
not anymore.
Here
Not
was
anymore.
crazy. Again, it's a lot of people a lot of women
That
don't
big-
know the difference between serious relationship and casual fling. Because they're gonna go and see that guy, so they leave their relationship
Very good point.
to go and see the guy that just wants to have sex with them.
Yeah.
And the guy only wants her because he is not having sex with her. Once he starts having sex with her, it's like, nah, I don't want you anymore. So she's now destroyed that which she had before. Make sense?
That definitely happens.
It happens a lot. And I go, dude. And it's weird because it's happening on an exponential level today.
But it's less of the long. It's the lack of long-term perspective.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? In that moment, like, this feels good, this is exciting. Well, naturally, it would be free, and maybe you got some other friends who are also single, and they're giving you
There
this
you
impression
go.
that you're missing
You
out. on
don't
this.
have
We could
friends.
be going on cruises, and we could be doing this, and we could
Cruises.
we could be living life.
You know?
Getting flued out.
You know? We've got a new coach, Fabrizio. Woo!
Fabrizio.
His name sounds exotic.
Zohan.
And he's got,
So-
long, he's got long hair with highlights in it.
You know, hey, ladies, we do the pose like this. Yeah, okay.
Drops a dick on the table.
Boom. This is why they call me Fabrizio. Yeah. The stallion. Yeah.
And we'll give you a holiday you will never forget.
You know,
Man.
fuckboy gear, white t-shirt, grey pants, no underwear.
And slip-ons.
Yeah, I Fabrizio. Hey, no speak English, but hey, you want some? Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let me start telling you the stories
And,
about my friends going to Barbados.
And then
Oh, like that, yeah?
But wait,
Yeah.
no, and then comes the email 3 months later. I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened.
At 3 a.m.
I wasn't
It
myself.
wasn't me. I wasn't
I
myself.
wasn't myself.
I really miss you.
I felt like I'd lost a part of myself.
I'm sitting out here with my mom.
If I ever hear I was not myself, you need to tell me that you were on the highest of cocaine and heroin, because that's the only thing I'm gonna almost accept.
Like that.
Well, you are
You were
100%
yourself.
yourself, right? At least
Did it?
80.
So you got friends flying out to Barbados just to
Oh,
get
we ain't getting into that. That's a podcast for another time.
female
We-
friends you're talking
We
about.
are doing
Is her
that.
name Stella? You should get a groove back, bruv. Some fake Jamaican
Let's
guy.
not do
Hey,
that.
baby.
Let's
Yeah,
not
you
do
want
that.
some of this?
Let's
You know.
not do
Yeah.
that.
You're the one that brought it up.
Yeah, I know. I just was like, when you were speaking about it, I was like, yeah, because that fits into that. But yeah, I shouldn't
Oh,
really be
man.
talking them people's business. So.
Sex
We
tourism.
didn't call names, bro.
Yeah, we don't call names.
For
but
all we know, it could be Super Ted and Spotty. It's like, yeah, bro. Just
yeah,
Well
I just don't want one of those awkward texts the next day if somebody hears the podcast.
it wasn't you, babe.
Yeah.
It was Teddy Ruxpin
I know
was
you.
talking about.
I know you didn't use my name, but you told the whole story.
The names have been
It could
changed.
only be me.
I said no. Are you
Names
feeling?
have been
Are you
changed.
feeling guilty?
Yeah.
You throw a stone in a pack
Yeah.
of dogs.
Yeah.
The hurt dog cries.
Yeah,
So
always hit dog or holler.
you know,
My grand
it's
always said that.
simple. You're feeling guilty because you know
Mhm.
yourself. I've done nothing to you. I didn't call your name. I was telling another person's story. Are you feeling guilty? Do you have to confess something to me? Talk.
The answer is yes.
There you go.
People
Games,
don't talk
games.
about that though. The
No,
fact that,
they don't.
that women do that as well. Go to certain countries. Mm-hmm.
It used to be like spoke about more. Now it's because of this, you know, transient culture. It's so much easier to do it, isn't it?
People do that thing, man. It's like when they say when guys cheat next door. When girls cheat,
Yes,
they,
it could be,
they
yeah.
go around the world to go and cheat.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like-
I think as well, so, you know, that especially with women when it comes to cheating, if they've gotten to the point where they're cheating, I think they're so far removed from the relationship. Whereas I think with guys, when they cheat,
Oh, dude, guys
Yeah.
cheat because it's Wednesday.
That's what I'm saying. They could be perfectly happy.
yeah, it could be a convenience thing. You know what I mean?
It was like, oh, just trip. Oh,
You mean the classic?
oh,
Here I am.
oh. How did we get here? Just stay there.
Don't
Just
move.
stay there. I mean, I'm here now anyway. So
Yeah, I might as well just
Okay.
continue. No. Yeah.
I love that. I just walking, minding my business. I just tripped. Ah!
Fell into some.
I was falling, rolling around, and then my phone came out, and then the Zeto card payment came in, like bling, and I kept falling into a condom, and I was trying to stop falling, but I kept falling, and
This is oddly specific.
she was right there with her legs open. I don't know how it happened, but I tumbled into doggy style.
oddly
I was like,
specific.
oh shit!
Tumbled into doggy style.
So how do we get here?
Well,
I was trying to get out,
tumbled
but the more I gyrated, the more it held me.
You're trying to get out.
I was trying to pull out.
Yeah,
The more I was
struggled.
I was like, ah.
Yeah, and she had the grippy.
The grippy, the
you
good
know,
good, the good
it-
good,
it
the good
made-
grip, the wet.
You know what?
It made my nerves tingle. It was like paralysis. I tried to grab her and push her. For some reason, I kept pulling her in. And I kept going, ah.
This is so specific.
I was trying to get
so
out.
specific, like so detailed,
No, I'm speaking for
so
a friend.
clear. A friend of a friend, yeah.
No, it's a friend directly. So I was trying to get out. I was like, no, sister,
Yeah.
you can't be doing. Oh,
So you're speaking for a friend, but you're saying I.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
yeah,
dude.
for a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking from the perspective
yeah,
of.
no,
Oh, yeah.
it brings the story to life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
absolutely.
So the audience have to understand
Yeah, yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what happened to said person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
See,
okay.
see now why I'm not telling no stories about my wedding, baby?
Oh man,
So, been an absolute pleasure.
It's been emotional,
it has.
gentlemen.
Fucking hell.
Would you like to add anything else to this, please?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'd like to add one more thing.
Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
If it don't feel good, don't do it. It's that simple.
What?
Just stop. If it don't feel good, don't do it.
What are you
We
talking
spend
about, Willis?
relationships, everything. If it don't feel good, don't do it.
Hey, fuck your feelings. Do what you gotta do, bro. You talking about if you don't feel good. Do it too.
Everything you do don't feel good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Really?
It doesn't feel good.
Oh, it's a shame.
It's necessary. I'm necessary. I do what needs to be done. I don't feel like going to bed at midnight up at 4 a.m. But I'm still gonna do it because guess what? Shit's got to be done.
I know what you're saying. You're saying a lot of times you have to do things you don't want to do in
Yes.
order to grow and progress. I
Thank
think you
you.
guys are talking about two different things.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
about
what
it.
you're talking about is if you genuinely aren't happy and
Yeah,
you're not
I'm just
fulfilled
referring to the relationship
and,
aspect.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want to
Wait.
be here and I'm unhappy and all the rest of it, then you shouldn't be doing that.
No.
PJ, why is he being a peacemaker?
Why?
We're trying
It's
to
in his
argue.
nature, man.
Oh, you're trying to argue. Okay, go ahead, man.
If PJ says left, I will say right.
I know that.
It's content.
You're both counter conversationalists.
Because the devil don't need no more advocates.
I think I grew up around too much arguing, so I'll go for harmony where possible. But there you go.
What you talking about? What you mean? What do you mean we're argumentative?
What do you mean? No, I'm not.
Oh, why you
That's my
arguing?
favorite one.
I'm not arguing.
You ever tell someone they're argumentative? They're
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not. I'm like,
I just been up when that happens.
I just go.
that literally
Yeah, yeah.
happens though.
Always been up
I'm
when that
like, I
happens.
rest my case.
Yeah.
I just go.
Mofo.
He's like, hmm.
That is a beard, boy.
So basically, David saw a man with a long beard like that. Tell the audience now. I can't be just saying that's a beard.
Our audience is intelligent. They know I saw someone with a beard for me to say that's a long
No,
beard.
because it's on my beard. So that's a beard. But thank you. See, audience, beard.
He's doing it again, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I am too.
Everyone, it's been emotional.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Ciao.